So in this part of the build, I think we're going to focus on the lights. The basic fuselage of the plane is painted. Um, there's some things that we got to do later, like adding on the thrusters, painting them, the landing gear, the wheels, the nose, things like that. But what this episode is going to feature is we're going to put the lights in. Now, there's not a lot of lights. There's enough to let you know that when it's in the sky. The one that's on a tail fin I won't be able to do because it's too late for that one. But there's a couple of lights that are on either side of the cockpit on the air intake. There's a flashing one underneath. There's a red one on top. And we're going to put the LEDs to simulate the thrusters. And of course, we got the cockpit. So it may seem not that many lights, but there's going to be quite a few lights. So enjoy the video. Okay, so moving on. Like I said, we got the bulk of the fuselage is all ready to go. And we've got the bottom of the plane. We did the missiles and the bombs, and it's all painted. We've got the landing gear doors that are open, and it's all set to do the landing gear. We're going to do that after we do the lights. So what we're going to do in this video is there are different lights in the area. From what I could see off the pictures, there were yellow lights on each side of the cockpit where the air intake is. There's a red light that's up on top, and it's shown here in like raised plastic, but that's a red light. And we're going to have a flashing light that's going to go on the bottom. Now there is a light that's in the tail fin, but there's just no way for me to do that, so we're not going to put that one in. And we're going to have the LED lights flickering in the back. And of course, we got to put the power supply in. So we're going to get the lights. And what I'm thinking is, when it comes to the yellow, let's see, or the red, I'm going to use a 5mm bulb. Let me show you guys. The 5mm bulb is going to be just about perfect because it's going to go, and the way we're going to remove the bubble, and the red light is going to become the bubble, just like on a plane. So that's going to be the red light. Now remember, with these bulbs, I have to put resistors, and the resistor is going to go on a positive feed. So we got one of those. Now when it comes to the yellow, I'm going to need my tweezers for these. These are the smallest ones that I have for these kind of lights, for the yellow. And you can see these might be a little bit large. But what I also have is I have these, and these are the micro lights. And these are also, I have yellow. Now the reason I have these is for the Enterprise refit, the 1/350 scale. Actually, let me show you. When it comes to the nacelle, on the end of the nacelle, on the wing, well, the flap that comes out, there's like a little area in the corner, and it's actually lit light with yellow. And that's why I had gotten this originally. So, well, we'll have a few extras, and I think these will be perfect to go into the plane, into the side. So they're going to come out ever so slightly, and there's going to be enough of the wire where we can run it through and we'll be able to wire it. Now we do have to put, I'm going to put a resistor on here too. So that takes care of the two lights on either side, the yellow lights and the red light. Now, when it comes to the flashing light, the ones that I have, I've got the, these are the 5mm, and these are the clear white lights, and it's actually the flashing strobe kind of lights. So we're going to put this on the bottom of the plane. So when it comes to the lights on a plane, we got 2, 3, 4. We got 4 lights. Not too bad. And when it comes to the end, what we're going to do is I'm going to put the flickering LED lights into the back to signify the thrust. Okay, so when it comes to the back of the engine, you can see we're going to use the flickering light, or the flickering flame ones. And they might be a little bit, well, actually, I was thinking, yeah, these might just be the perfect size. Instead of being too small, but these are the flickering yellow, so that's going to be for the thrusters. So that pretty much wraps up all of the lights that we're going to be using. So, let's see. We'll get one more of the yellow. And we're going to need a total of 3 resistors. We got the 2 yellow lights, and we've got the red. We're going to need a resistor on there. So let's get these ready. And like I had told you guys, we're going to be using, actually, we're going to be using the button battery, or the coin battery power supply. And you can see where the batteries are going to go in, so we can test them with this as well. But let's put the resistors on. I'm just going to loosely put them on now, and then we can solder later when we do all the soldering and get everything for the final placement. All right, we got that one. And let's... Now there might not be enough voltage where we can get away with not putting a resistor in, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Alright, we got that all set. Alright, so we're going to put it in. Let's make sure it's off. You can't really tell. Alright, so you can see where they're going to go in. We got the positive side up and the negative side up. So I have to order more of these. I think these are my last 2. And these come in really, really handy, especially when you're trying to save space. So it's going to go like this. And that one is going to go like that. Hopefully you guys can see that. And the click snaps into place. And you can see, just like that, we've got a red light. Alright, so that works. Now, let's do the same thing for the tiny yellow. So, hopefully you guys can see that. I know it's bouncing around a lot. So that one works. And let's see, hopefully you guys can see that one. It kind of looks like those little bottom feeder fish in the really deep Atlantic or the ocean. Anyway, that one works. Okay, so let's see. The flashing one, I gotta strip down the wires a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see that. So that works. So I think we're ready. Oh, let me just check these out. These are going to be for the thrusters. And I'm trying to get the light in front of you, the camera, and you can see that that's how that's going to look. So that's that one. And lastly, we've got this one to check. Let's get the negatives together, and hopefully you guys will be able to see the light just like that. So these, all the lights were tested and they're all set. So let's put the power pack aside. And again, what we're going to do with the power pack is we're actually going to drill out a section of this so we can put it in. Okay, when it comes to the lights, I think what I wanted to do first was there's the back of the plane. This is where the LEDs are going to go. All right, so you see how they're going to go on. You see that little notch? Well, that little notch is going to go right in there. But we still need to be able to separate it after. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit into the channel for the notch. A little bit of glue. And that way there, we're still going to be able to separate it because we got to drill in and we have to take the fuselage halves back apart so we can wire it. So we're not going to put a lot of glue, just enough to hold it in place. Just a little drop. And let's put those on. You got to be careful with that. So you can see we have that one on, and we're going to paint it. We're not going to leave it that horrible color. So we're going to do the same thing for the other side. See that? And there are some pieces that we still have to put on. There's like a cone that goes in between the thrusters and the back, and there are side pieces, but like I said, we still have to be able to take the plane apart. So you know what? Let's take we'll take the wings off for now. The back wings. And what I want to make sure is, see how we're still able to separate them? But I want this glue to dry a bit. Take them off. That way there, nothing happens to them. They're pretty cool looking. So we're going to put these aside for now. And we'll give the thrusters a little while to glue, because the glue has to set. Because what I got to do is we got to put the bottom piece back on, and we got to drill through just to make sure that the light has enough room for the LEDs to come out. But we're going to wait for that. So why don't we think about gluing, or actually, yeah, gluing. What we're going to do is we're going to actually use the hot glue gun. And actually, I'll show you guys all the extra parts that we still have to put on. So we already put the top and the bottom part of that section, but there are shields that go on either side, and there's like that cone that goes in. Okay, so this is going to be the bottom of the plane. And like I said, it's going to go right about over there. Like I said, right over here. it's going to fit nicely. Let's see. And the light is going to come just like that. We're not going to make it stick all the way out, probably right about there. So we can go ahead and we can put some glue in, some hot glue. And again, we got to make sure that we don't clog up any areas for the cockpit. See, it's starting to get a little bit solid, and that's going to work pretty well. See, I had to push it through a little bit more than I wanted to because we're going to have to be able to get the cockpit in here. But there is a small space. Let me show you. There is a space between the bottom of the bulkheads and the floor of the cockpit, so it should be okay. Again, it's a little bit further out than I had wanted, but because of the space that we need inside the cockpit, I had to make sure that there was room to push it down. But I think this is going to look pretty cool, because that's going to be the only blinking light on the plane. There's just one strobe. Okay, so that's good. We'll let the glue get nice and solid for a minute in this part. See how it's right in the front of the lighting container or capsule? I'm going to do the same thing for this side. There. So we got the light can pass through the holes. So see how I'm going to pass it through, like so. And we're going to hot glue it. And see that can get down a little bit. And see, we want the light protruding ever so slightly, just a bit like that. And while that's solidifying, I think we should go ahead and do the other side. And again, just about like that. So let's glue this. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of super glue, and we're going to actually solidify the bulbs into position. That's looking pretty good. Again, we can put a little bit of super glue to keep them in position. All right, so that's looking good. And the lights will be in on the side. So why don't we think about doing the top light? And again, we're going to need to use the larger drill bit. Again, it's a little larger than I would have liked, but due to the nature of the bulb. And then we can touch it up with the green. So, the thing with the lights is it's going to be larger on the airplane. Let's see. All right, let's put the glue in. And we'll give it a second to solidify, and then we can position the bulb. Because don't worry about the white around it. What we're going to do is we're going to touch it up with the paint, and we can even put a little bit onto the bulb so it doesn't look as LED-ish. So it looks a little more like the bulb on the plane. Here you can see it had some time to solidify, as did the glue for the lights on the side. So that's going to start to come together pretty nice. And at this point, I think we can go ahead and we can push back the light at the bottom where the cockpit area is. So that looks like it's actually going to fit pretty good. And then the top of the plane will come down, just like that. Yeah, that's going to fit pretty nice. And then the cockpit will be lit. And we've got the wires that are coming through the bottom of the bulkhead. Okay, so I think what we can think about doing now is let's think about, maybe we'll put the top of the fuselage back on and we'll think about drilling the holes for the rear thrusters. Yeah, that looked just about perfect. This is going to look really, really cool. So why don't we go ahead and we can try to put the left one in. You see, it's going to go like that. And what we can do is we can always drill out the bottom one. Look how cool that's going to look. Okay, so why don't we hot glue this into place right here, because that looks good the way it is. So that's looking pretty good. So I think what I can do now is let's go ahead and put the right one in. All right, so we can put this one in on this side. Like that. And make sure that they're both even. Put the glue on. Solidifying, what I want to do is, guys, I got to show you this. I'm dying to see how they look. So why don't we go ahead, I'm going to connect. Guys, how cool does that look? Like a Cylon Raider. And again, we're going to paint the thruster casings, and it'll look really cool. But doesn't that look dynamite? I think the inside, the gloss black is actually really good for that, because it's reflecting off to make it look like the flame. And you can see the light block is good. The coats of paint that we put on the bottom and on the inside really helped out. So I just had to see that. So that's beautiful. That's fantastic. So I think what we can start think about doing now is, let's see, we got those in. We've got the one on top. We've got the two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I think what we can start doing, we can actually start wiring. So you may be thinking, wow, what a mess. You're right, but I just put it together real quick just so I could test the lights, because we want to make sure they're all working. So we've got the two lights on either side where the air intake is. We've got the light on top. We've got the thrusters, and we've got the strobing flash on the bottom. Now the only thing I got to do, well, now that I know that these are all set, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and solder everything into place, and then we're going to wire the cockpit in and do it that way. All right, so give you guys a bit of an update. The lights that were in here on the sides, the really small ones, I didn't like the way they looked, just because of the way the holes were, and there would have been filler involved, and I don't have a problem with the filler, but it just wouldn't have looked right. So what I did was I went ahead and I put these in, and I had to put the resistors on, and I ran into a few problems trying to get the glue out that had already been in there. And so I had to drill the glue out, but as a result, a little bit chipping on the top occurred, so I'll have to repaint that. But all right, let me show you guys. We've got the lights on either side, and let me see if I can turn it over, because nothing is soldered in place yet. So you can see the top light. Again, we're gonna fix that, and the light on top, and then we have, of course, the jet engines. I love the flickering effect. I think that looks really cool. So what we got to do now is we got to start thinking about the fuselage. So when we put it together, we're going to have these that are going to go on as well. So I'm going to see if I can actually get the fuselage to hold together just a bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to connect these two just so we can see kind of a finished product. Let's see, we're going to have this here. And again, I'm going to hold it together loosely just to show you guys what it's going to look like. We got the lights on either side. We got the light on top, and the cockpit is lit. I think that looks really cool. We got the flashing light on the bottom. And we've got the thrusters. So basically it's going to go like this. And it came apart again on the inside. I got to permanently fix the lights, but hopefully you guys can see. Let me put the lights out to show you guys. It looks pretty cool. The light on top. We got the flashing strobe. And you can see both sides of the plane. And show you guys the back. That just looks so cool. All right. So what I got to think about doing now is we got to start to think about permanently affixing the wires. Because don't forget, we can't put the tops together yet, the halves, because we still have to, there are parts in the cockpit right over there, instrument panels that need to go in. We put it like in here, and we can put it up to the lines. That might be a good place where we can just slide it and it can stay on. Maybe we can put it right there. And I'm going to start just trim a little bit off the top and the bottom. We don't want to do a lot. We want to do just enough. Oh, there. That's about what we wanted. And again, for some reason, the wires for the power supply coming off the front, so we actually have to allow this to go in. And let me show you, because remember, we need to take this out and change the batteries. So you can't put it in permanently. So that's basically how it's going to look. That's right about there. And the way it's good because it goes and abuts to the other side of the hull of the fuselage. So then you can turn it on and off. All right, that's out of the way. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually think about putting the wires together a little bit more permanently. All right. So it's a little more permanent. And what I want to do is I'm actually going to sacrifice one of these clips. And this is going to stay in there because I want to keep it together. Here. Put it together loosely just to show you guys. But in a nutshell, that's all set. Yeah, we got the switch in. Let's put it on, and we've got the cockpit. We've got the lights, and we've got the thrusters. And you can just kind of see her kind of taking off. So my friends, basically, this video was the lighting. And the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to actually finish the cockpit and we're going to bring the halves together. Because we still have to do the bottom of the plane with the landing gear. And when we're done, we'll touch up the little spots. But like I said, guys, at the beginning of the video, I wanted to make sure that we got the, let me get this out of the way. It's a little bit better. You can see the, I love the back. That is so cool. And the cockpit's gonna look great with the green. And there are still panels that have to go in over there, so that'll dim the green a lot. And of course, we got the strobe on the bottom. We got the lantern on top. So my friends, thank you so much for watching. And until the next video in this build, which is coming up pretty soon, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for watching.